Good evening. Hello, Horizon Worlds. This is Meta News. I'm El Blanco with the Blanco Business News segment. And tonight is April 17th, 2023. And tonight we're going to talk about politics and how politics affect business. Okay, so as I've been here about a year now, I've been trying to get people to learn more about business by understanding all of the things that business encompasses. It's not just you starting a business to make money. It's about you are actually going under some type of regulation, and you're kind of like controlled by the acts of law that governs those businesses, depending on what type of business you have as well. And for the different type of businesses out there, regardless of what type of business that it is, they are all affected by politics. Now, I remember, coming up, I didn't want to be involved in any politics because we watch the news and we see, how politics goes, and we may not feel the way people feel, but not really understanding how politics affects everything. I'm going to talk about a few things tonight that will, direct you in a path to where you would rather pay more attention to what's going on politically in your country, in your state, in your municipality, so that when you start your business, you will know how your business could possibly be affected. What could be positively affected or adversely affected based on your ability to understand the politics, and maybe in some cases get involved depending on what it is your business may or may not need. So basically, politics, it plays a primary role in business, and it plays that role domestically and internationally. So you don't want to sleep on the fact that things taking place internationally directly affects what's going on domestically. So what is taking place in Russia can heavily affect your business here in America and with any other country that does business in America or through America. So so when you think about politics is mainly, everything is really maintained or controlled or regulated by government. So government has basically four basic functions, right, that impacts businesses. And those four basic functions are for protecting the citizens from harm, protecting the citizens from internal threats. That's what they call internal or domestic, internal threats or domestic threats, and foreign harm, what we external harm. Protecting property rights, and basically creating means for resolving disputes. So let's say you have a dispute. Guess what? You got contracts that covers the relationships you may be in. It covers the situation, but someone may not want to follow that contract. You may have to go into court, right? And then the government, depending on what kind of court you're in, you may be in a state court, a federal court, you may be in tax court, whatever the case may be. But these are the four basic functions that the governments, are involved in, and they're all political functions in a sense. So basically, protecting citizens' property rights, it has a major impact on businesses, and such as the government, they establish copyright and trademark laws to ensure that your company maintains its ownership of its goods, services, and or its brands. Okay, so then you have international factors, right? Because we're talking about politics, and we have international factors that influence businesses, when a company expands globally. And people should really be considering, if I start a big ultimate goal is to be able to expand globally. Whether it's whether it's not going through the government, or whether it's private expansion or international trade between you and another country, or you and another business and another company. But you want to expand, or you want to have your sight set on that, because as long as you have a lofty goal, even if you don't reach that goal, it's so lofty that you're still successful by the time you get to the point to where you've gotten as far as you could go. But anyway, you need to understand that when you're thinking about dealing with political challenges in other countries and foreign countries, you should always think about politics, because if you ever intend to expand your business, it's going to be critical, right, that you understand politics in order for you to be able to operate on a global scale. And that global scale doesn't necessarily with the government or through government contracting. You could do something as simple as land a deal with a country that's brand new, just developing it, and it has it could have a central bank just added through the banking system, and they may decide to fund the first project. And let's say your first project to that company would be to deliver, corn for that whole country, and you get the contract. So now you could have a 10 billion, well, I'm gonna say billion, you can have a 10 million or $20 million contract annually to, supply corn, because that's you be on a global stage. Now, they got a thing they call value creation, and that's one thing the government is supposed to do. The government is supposed to create value in economics, you know what I'm saying? And it's like the process of creating goods and services that will be, these goods and services are supposed to end up being worth more than the resources that's used to produce them. So therefore, the government will hire people at, lower, will give out contracts to the lowest bidder, right? But they will expand that. They would expand the ability for that company or those companies that win those contracts to operate through government funding, right? And then they can put out more than they would if they didn't have government funding or if they didn't get the contract. So the government can create value. And because the government can create value, that's a political thing. So they send lobbyists to the government to talk to the government, to talk to Congress members and senators. They try to lobby their way to those contracts or get those contracts sent, or get money sent to their states or their individual connections that they may have with their state, Now, even though politics, they use it to create value, and that's one of the things the government can do. Politics also, it can interfere with creating value. You know what I'm saying? Because when you have politics, that creates the domestic challenges that you have within your country. And one of the greatest challenges with politics is you're going to encounter corruption. And that corruption is, defined as the ability to influence businesses, right? Regardless whether you're going to create value or not, right? Those officials can take advantage of their power, and corruption is when they take advantage of it. And then there's three forms of corruption in the government, right, that people have to pay attention to, which lets you know just how far politics can go. You have extortion, right? And political officials use threats or force. They have connections people with threats or force, threat to take away money from your area, or threats to vote on legislation that will get rid of your industry, all types of things. Then you have theft, when public officials are appropriating government assets for personal gain. So that means I'm going to use my office to appropriate all the stuff that's used to take care of the people, but we're really using it for our personal gain to make sure we make the money. And then once again, it's a term they call capture, where firms paying government officials to influence political decisions, which is the same thing as lobbying. So, even though corruption is considered illegal in many countries, it's still an expected part of business. For some reason, it is so ingrained, in business, it is inspected. I'm sorry, it is expected, because that's why we have a legal system, and that's why all this money is being made from the legal system when it comes to litigation. But again, the international challenges is when you're dealing with businesses abroad, and you have all these type of things that could cause business to succeed or fail based on the politics. Because a company can get a contract in an African country, because these things were normal in the past, where they can get a contract in an African country to be there for years, and then as soon as the power structure changes, instead of honoring the contract, they may kick out their business and keep all the equipment, things like that. So you have to understand politics, because politics will keep you informed on the nature and the environment of business, of those particular industries. It'll let you know, it'll basically let you know who's more likely to take office. And if those people are going to take office, all those people basically pro what you're talking about, or they pros and cons, or pretty much, do you want to get involved based on what your business needs to do? Because you may use your business to help promote a candidate to get in office. But like I said, regardless of what you understand about politics and what you like or don't like, you must learn about politics in order to make sure that your business is successful and you can actually take your business in a direction that you need to go without it being totally disadvantaged or destroyed by one shift in politics. So, once again, I'm El Blanco. Thank you for watching the show tonight. We are the premier news for Horizon Worlds in the metaverse, and you can watch our shows on the YouTube channel. Okay, so make sure to watch us. Watch our segments. We have a lot of segments that we cover for Horizon Worlds, and you can watch us on Meta News for Horizon Worlds, plural with an S. And that's our YouTube. That's our YouTube channel. And make sure you stay tuned for more business news to come. And we thank you for watching. Good night.